Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Coffee in Quarantine with your buddy Ned from Rock 108. I am actually in my second bedroom right now. Second bedroom with all my nerdy crazy crap. I even broke out the guitar for you. Look at that. We're not going to play anything because I haven't played in about 2 years. So we're not going to get to that. But what we are doing is we're hanging out with your favorite bands here on Rock 108 that are just as stuck in quarantine as anyone. They can't tour. They can't do anything, but hang out, write, make new music, do whatever they can while hanging out. So we're going to step into their house and see what's going on. And I've got Matt from Ashes to New hanging out right now. What's up, dude?
What's up, man? Same thing as you. Stuck in a room, got a guitar beside me here. Haven't played in a few years. I don't know that I'll be playing either. Maybe you and I could pick up our guitar and make one good song all together between the two of us.
Dude, we totally could come up with something. God knows what it'll be. It'll just be, how about we'll just do with Green Day's Brain Stew, and then we'll be good.
Brain Stew, easiest song on the planet, man.
Yep.
I've been working on learning some Bullet for My Valentine. So.
Oh, no doubt, man. Which ones are you thinking, or which ones are you playing?
Tears Don't Fall.
Ooh, yeah. Dude.
I already know. I used to play Your Betrayal in one of my local bands, so I'm familiar with that song. So yeah, I think that's one of the things that this quarantine has done is it's made me pick the guitar back up and start playing it again.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, just right with you on that. Just like you're doing all these certain things that you normally wouldn't do because you're kind of just stuck. I've cleaned, I think, every single thing in my house. I mean, it's nuts.
I'm normally like that. Right now, I'm actually staying with my in-laws because my house was being built. And it was supposed to be done actually about a week and a half ago. And because of everything that happened, they shut down the process of them building the house. So we don't have like a for sure finish date on our home. So I've been staying with my in-laws during this whole fiasco, trying to do what I normally do. And it's just a lot different. You're stuck inside and it's not your house. So it's a lot different.
So you're a little careful about what you do. Does it feel like the good old days when you were trying to impress the in-laws while hanging out?
No.
Oh, man.
No, completely opposite.
Really? How so? I want to know what you're doing in this in-laws house.
Just staying to myself as much as I can. It's two adult families living in one home. So,
yeah,
it's you just got to try and coexist. I mean, everything's great. We're super grateful to be here.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it's their home. We've had our home forever, and it's just two adult families coexisting. So it's like, okay, how do we do this and remain civilized,
Yeah,
so
absolutely, man. So in that case, who's making the best dinners at the house? What did you have for dinner last night? Was it drive-in, drive-through takeout, or did you cook?
Yep, drive-through takeout.
Ooh, where were you eating at?
Sheets.
What is Sheets? I have never heard of a place.
So if you've ever been to the East Coast, especially like Maryland or Pennsylvania, there's the whole Sheets Wawa battle.
Oh, okay.
And Wawa is when you get closer to like Philadelphia, everyone likes Wawa food.
Okay.
When you get a little bit further west, everyone likes Sheets food. And it's called Sheets MTO, which means made to order. And it's basically like it's like cafe food or like diner food. It's got fried food. You know what I mean? Like just your normal menus, burgers, subs, that kind of stuff. And it's basically a convenience store gas station, but they have like a built-in cafeteria. It's pretty cool.
We have something similar here in the central area where it's called Casey's General Store.
Yep. I've eaten at Casey's.
Dude, yeah. The weird thing is I'm from Michigan where there was no Casey's there. Then I moved to Iowa and they're like, well, what's the best pizza in Iowa? They're like, well, Casey's pizza is the best. I'm like, gas station pizza? Is the best? What is this? Why do I live in a state with gas station pizza? And then when I went there, I finally had the pizza. I'm like, I get it. I totally get it now. It's delicious.
Every time we go through there, my guitarist Lance, he's always like, we gotta get some Casey's pizza. And he's the one who actually showed me that as well, because he had been touring with the band Emphatic long before From Ashes to New came out. And he is the one who said, I did the same thing, same reaction you had, man. It was like, Gas station pizza?
Why is this good? Like,
You sure you don't want to get some Domino's? Like, what are you talking about, man?
You know, Lance always fascinates me because I'm a fan of like different colored hair, which, by the way, this is normally a lot bluer than right now. But Lance always has like a different hair color every single time I see you guys live.
Yeah. What was it, the last tour? Not the last one we did before this all shut down, because his hair's like teal right now.
Yeah.
Before that, he had like an orangish color for last year.
Oh yeah.
And as the touring was starting to end, it was like fading to this like tangerine-ish pink color. And when people would ask what his hair color was, he would always say that it's Trailer Park Sunset.
Trailer Park Sunset hair.
That's what it was always messed up, too long, not colored perfectly. And he'd be like, what color is that? And he'd be like, Trailer Park Sunset.
I'm saying that maybe that's like the next From Ashes to New merch. Like maybe Lance starts kind of doing like some different hair dyes that you guys can sell in the merch store.
We put his hair color on one of our, like, it's a new merch design. It's a girl, but we put his hair color on it. It's doing well.
Awesome.
And he's with Arctic Fox. I think he actually has an endorsement with Arctic Fox. They just send him hair dye. That's how he's able to get it so dark, because he just sprays so much of it on his head.
So I never thought you could get like a hair color endorsement, but Lance has proved me wrong in that aspect.
Danny gets weird endorsements too. Like they managed to get like a Redcon endorsement. If you're familiar with Redcon, which is like protein and like
yeah.
I'm like, we're a band. How do you get a Redcon endorsement? We're not weightlifters.
Right. Yeah. You're not going over to Gold's Gym and bench pressing, man.
Yeah. I mean, Danny is, but I mean, that's beside the point.
Right. So that question is, let's go. So if Danny and Lance both have endorsements, where's your endorsement then?
I don't know. Somewhere.
What the hell? No endorsement for Matt at all? Come on. That's some bullshit.
They try. They go out and actively seek these things.
Oh, okay. I got you.
I don't have the energy to deal with those people.
Yeah.
if they want to come to me, yeah, right. Like, figure out what you're doing to sell and tag and do all that stuff. Like, I don't post enough on social media as it is.
Right. Yeah.
I'd probably lose my endorsement a week after I get it.
Matt, you're not fulfilling your end of the deal of Casey's Pizza. What is this?
Right.
So one of my things that I kind of want to do with this coffee and quarantine thing is, well, first, before we get into this little idea that I have, Panic is a fantastic song. When you guys put it out there, I'm just like, we played it on our thing called the 420 Music Meeting, which you have been part of at one point. And we played it, and it was just like, dude, we have to add this song. Like, it's good, it's heavy, it's got like that good emotional feel behind it with this whole pandemic thing going on right now. It just rips, man. It's so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. So it's funny that you mentioned that you're building a house, because weirdly enough, yesterday my wife and I were sitting at the coffee table and we are filling out mortgage paperwork.
Right.
I tell you,
fun things in life.
Now I'm curious. I mean, without obviously giving away your location, your address, or anything like that, what went into designing this glorious house that's being postponed built right now?
They have like a design studio.
Really?
Like the builder that we're working with, they have like this state-of-the-art facility that you go to, and they have, a lot of times when you work with builders or you work with designing and art and architects, you have to go to multiple different locations to pick out multiple different things that you want for your home. This builder that we're working with has everything in one location. So we just went to their location and we went through all the different things that we wanted. And, it's a, what do you call those? A spec home. So they have, 16 different models you can choose from.
Oh yeah.
So we chose the model that we like the best, and then you go in and they have like 5 tiers of every type of thing to choose from. So then we picked everything out in there.
Oh, that's cool.
Which all really adds up.
Yeah, I can imagine, because you can kind of pick and choose your dream home essentially.
Yeah.
So what was like the thing that was required? For me, I'm looking for like a finished basement and a large kitchen. I got to have those 2 things. What's the thing that's required in your house?
those are both required, man. So so that was huge, right? Because I'm pretty handy when it comes to construction. So
cool.
I worked in the construction field for, the better part of a decade before my band got signed. So When it comes to remodeling and stuff, I'm able to do all that myself. But since the band started taking off, I didn't really have the time. Now I have so much time,
Right,
but
yeah.
I didn't really have the time to do those things. So that was huge, was the finished basement. So that's part of the build. They're finishing the basement straight out. So that's one of the biggest things. A big kitchen, countertops, man. You gotta have the good countertops. And whatever the wife wants, that's the most important thing in the house.
I was about to say, when's that coming in? Like, where's that part? Or like a nice backsplash. I didn't realize how kind of nice backsplash on a kitchen like really accents a kitchen. Like, ooh,
yeah,
good backsplash, man.
Well, we lived in a house that for years, for like a decade, we lived in a home that was willed to my mother-in-law from my wife's grandfather.
Okay.
And it hadn't been like, we updated most of the rooms before we moved in, but we were kids, so we didn't have the finances to update the bathroom, like the master bathroom and the kitchen. So our kitchen was like a wood laminate countertop, and the backsplash was like the same laminate material, and it was like salmon.
Oh,
like
man.
The whole thing was salmon. So anything, I mean, anything's an upgrade.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It feels so good. Like, ooh, look at that. It looks modern now.
Yeah. You can put carpet on the backsplash and it's an upgrade. You know what I mean?
Yeah, really. Man, dude, it's funny you mentioned the salmon kitchen and bathroom. My kitchen not a kitchen, but my apartment, I think, was built in 1972, and they forgot to update anything after that. So my bathroom right now is like this salmon pink craziness, and the kitchen like has a push button burner system. So like medium high, it's not like the turn dials that you see today. I'm like, whatever house I move into after this, man, it's just going to be like a serious upgrade from whatever.
You're not going to know what to do with yourself.
Yeah, dude, I'm not. Like what is this? Digital readouts on a stove? Whoa, that's kind of
mind-blowing. When we first sold that house, we moved into a house that was 3,700 square feet and it was just redone, like just renovated.
Oh man!
So everything was brand new, and it was one of the big like contemporary open concepts. So it was just basically like one giant open room, and I was touring all the time. And my wife was like, "I don't know what to do in this house. Like, I just stand in the kitchen and stare around the house.
It's too much house."
Yeah, we only lived there for like 3 months. It was just way too much house. It was an acre, and that was when we decided we were going to sell that and build the one that we're building now, which is a lot more cozy. Like the design's just a lot more cozy.
Yeah, and again, you can kind of see it and design it in the way that you want.
Yep, that way that she doesn't get stuck standing in the kitchen when I'm on tour.
Right, exactly. Just remember the kitchen moment. That's what it is.
Yes. Look back on this.
Yes. So one of the things I want to do on the coffee and quarantine thing is that you and I are roughly about the same age. I'm 32, and according to the internet, it says you're 35. Am I right?
That's correct.
All right, cool. The internet didn't lie to me for the first time ever. Holy cow. Amazing. So you probably remember growing up in the age just as much as I do. I mean, the fact that you and I are even doing what we're doing right now, talking on the internet and face-to-face on this, is just a mind-blowing thing I never would have thought possible in like 1998, 1999,
No, I was in the movies as to like, that could be a cool thing in the future.
It's like some Star Trek shit happening up here.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. So I don't know if you remember like your Hotmail account or your Yahoo account or anything that you had in an email account where you
AOL.
get like letters, and then you'd have to answer all the questions, and then you'd send it to 5 more people, and then they'd answer it, and then before you know it, it's kind of like this chain letter type of thing.
I remember chain mail. I didn't participate in it though.
Okay, good. All right, that's probably for the best, because at this point, according to that chain mail, if you didn't participate, you're still alive. So you're off to a good start.
Yeah, right. I would see like the caption, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Not doing this thing.
I don't have time for this nonsense today.
Well, today, Matt, you're going to have some time, because we're going to do a chain letter with you, man. We're going to do it live right here.
Here we go. First time ever.
All right, cool. So first and foremost, I'm going to get this out of the way. Did you graduate high school?
Technically, yes.
Okay, so that's good enough. That's good enough. So in that case, this is the high school chain letter that you probably would have gotten way back when, and it's about 23 questions. So answer true, and if you have a good story behind one of those, oh man, please emphasize.
I may. We'll see.
All right. So the class, what class would you have been, or are you?
2003.
2003. I was 05, man. Oh yeah, there you go. Did you
Seems like ages ago.
Yeah, right. I know, dude. And again, the internet aspect when it comes down to it. Did you know your current love?
No.
No. All right, cool. What type of car did you drive?
I had a 1989 Plymouth Voyager.
Yes. Those are the best.
That's a minivan.
Oh,
and
my God.
I had two 10-inch subwoofers, two 12-inch subwoofers, and a 15-inch subwoofer, all in this minivan. And in the small town that I grew up in, it was 2 seats in my minivan.
Because you had so many subwoofers in the back.
Yeah, in the small town that I grew up in, I was getting fined like every other day. Like it was a joke that you could hear me like on the other side of town, like that my stereo was so loud. So I had that, and then I also had a 1990 Acura Integra LS.
Oh my gosh! And did that have the subwoofers make it over?
I had two 15s in that, and I actually broke my sunroof.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Jam into what? What was the sunroof song?
It really depends, man. You know, Lil Troy had a lot of bass. That "Wanna Be a Baller."
Oh yeah,
that song.
Yeah,
yeah, dude. Yeah, that song had a lot of bass. At that point in time, though, senior year, man, it was like Edema and Linkin Park, and you know, bands like that. Edema was one of my favorite bands.
Yeah, man. They recently did something. I thought they did something recently. Maybe I'm crazy. I think I'm crazy. They were supposed to.
I mean, we're all crazy.
I think with Flaw, actually.
I know Chris pretty well.
Yeah. When he did the whole what was that? Stephen Colbert thing recently with Flaw. That was
I didn't see that.
You didn't see that, dude?
No.
Oh my God, dude. It's the best. Just look it up online, Flaw and Stephen Colbert. And it actually has connections to Waterloo, Iowa at a venue called Spicoli's around here, which is kind of cool.
I know Spicoli's.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, dude. I was supposed to, I wore my Grand Rapids intersection shirt today under my robe, so there you go. Anyway, so the next question, what kind of job did you have? You mentioned construction earlier.
Yeah. Are we still talking senior year?
I mean, yeah, senior year. Good question.
I worked at Kmart.
You worked at Kmart?
Yeah. I worked in the electronics department at Kmart my senior year. So I sold TVs and VCRs were still a thing.
Hell yeah, they were.
Actually, it was like the VCR DVD combo.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think my parents still have one.
Yeah, right. I was hustling, man, because everything that you would sell, you would get commission on.
No doubt.
So, like, if you would sell, like, high-dollar items, you get commission. And if you could sell, you know how, like, when you go to, like, Walmart or Kmart, I don't even know if Kmart exists anymore. No. But you go to those places and they say, do you want the extended service warranty or whatever? Mm-hmm. If we sold those, we got 40% commission on it. Yeah. So I was hustling, my man.
Yeah.
Senior year, it was hustle.
Because you needed money and you were about to go out into the real world. Like shit,
I was dumping money into my Integra.
yeah. You got to replace that sunroof that broke.
That's right, man.
I was doing the same thing around that time. I was working at GameStop. I was a video game store clerk, and I mean, if you can tell from the background, I mean, obviously nerdy guy. So
I love it.
Yeah, I used to get that commission too, man. I remember. Oh my gosh. So in that case, where did you live? Where were you living while working at Kmart?
With my parents. I lived in Elizabeth. Well, my senior year, I moved out my senior year. Mm-hmm. I lived with my parents for most of it. And then I moved into this. It was a converted motel that they converted into apartments.
Oh, wow, man.
And I moved in with like 3 of my other friends into this one motel room that we had no kitchen. It was just a room and a bathroom.
Oh man.
Yeah. And we all moved in there. I only lived there for a few months before I moved back in with my parents. That was a nightmare.
Then you realize like, shit.
Yeah.
What have I done?
Yeah.
So senior year, were you in choir or band at all?
No. Senior year I was in tech school. I was learning electrical engineering. So that's how I got into the construction force. So that was what I did my senior year. I went from being like a failing every year because I didn't go to school. I literally like never went to school. I was homeschooled for a lot of my like high school because I just didn't like going to school very much. And then my senior year, I went to tech school, and I was on the honor roll for 3 out of 4 marking periods. So it was like, yeah, it was like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. Like, I'm learning something here.
Yeah, man. So you kind of found your calling in a way, a small calling that you didn't realize.
Yeah.
Was like, oh, okay, cool. So in that case, go on. Sorry, man.
No, it was fun. It was just fun. It was fun.
Yeah. So in that case, did you ever get suspended during that year?
No, I almost did though. I would talk about, because I was learning how to play guitar. Like, I wasn't even really in a band yet, and I was starting a band. I was learning how to play guitar, and there was this kid in my class who was just a punk. And I would talk about it all the time, because when I get excited about something, I just talk about it all the time.
Okay. Yeah.
And I would talk about it all the time, and he would always be like, yeah, you're never going to do anything. And, he would just, he would just crap all over it all the time. One day I had enough of it, and like I shoved him into the lockers in the back of the room. We had lockers in the back of the room, and I hit him, and I opened my locker door, and I had him, and I had my locker door in one hand and his head in the other hand. And I was just about to bash his head into the locker, and my instructor, because you're in tech class, it's not a teacher. My instructor came walking in and caught it, and he was super cool. Like, just this super cool little old electrician dude with long ponytail. He looked like a painter, but he was an electrician. Like, he came walking in and caught it, and he didn't suspend me, but I think that's the closest I came my senior year to getting suspended.
Oh man, standing up for that music, man. That's what it was all about.
Yeah, man.
You had that.
Yeah, man. I always did, man. Here we are.
Yeah, right. I mean, especially, you obviously we're in two different music worlds here. You're playing the music, and I'm promoting the music. And it's interesting how passionate we can get over like the things that you love, especially in the music world, man. I mean, like, I was in a band called Ground Switch. It was like a pop punk band, because it was pretty big around that time, Linkin Park and all those guys. Well, Linkin Park wasn't pop punk, but you know what I mean? Sum 41, Green Day's American Idiot, that kind of thing.
Right.
Man.
Like 182.
Yeah. And that was just easy stuff to play, and it was fun, and it got you ladies. So I would do that, and I used to get criticized so much all the time, man, because they're just like, well, you're just playing this stupid music, and you're not playing Black Sabbath. I'm like, sorry, man, and I don't know what to tell you. I just like having fun.
That still happens.
Right, yeah. It never
with the same reference.
Right, yeah. You're not playing Slayer.
Where's Raining Blood?
Don't get me wrong. Love those bands dearly, but it's just I can't match up to Kerry King. I just can't do it.
Right. But I'm with you on that, brother.
I can rip a Mad Brain Stew anytime.
Yeah. Give me When I Come Around, I'll tear it up.
Yeah, make it up, man. So moving on forward, so answered a couple of questions right there. Do you still have a yearbook?
No,
never had the yearbook.
I never had one. I don't know that I'm even in it.
All right, cool. Yeah, because that makes sense. So I guess that question. Oh, here you go. I kind of like this one, because we all know what you do. I don't think you were thinking of From Ashes to New during your senior year, but the original career, what did you want to do?
Major League Baseball player before I went the electrical route.
Oh, no doubt, man. Were you playing baseball in school at all, or any kind of intramural leagues? No,
I played. I was really good too.
Oh shit.
Yeah. That was what I wanted. I mean, I spent my whole entire life dedicated my life to that. So that's all I did every day. Most kids be playing video games. I literally would go out because I grew up in the Northeast. So I would go out when it would snow.
Yeah.
And snow would bum me out because I wanted to play baseball. Mm-hmm. And I would go out with a shovel, and because we had a big yard in front of the house, I would go out with a shovel, and I would shovel out base paths.
Oh man, that's so
and I would
cool.
shovel out, home plate and the pitcher's mound. I would shovel all that out so my neighbors and I across the street could play. And it was the worst thing ever, because you would hit the ball and you would lose it.
Yeah, you would never find it
in the snow, and not until the snow thawed. And then you'd have baseballs all over the place. But that's what I wanted to do.
It's kind of like a dog, A dog goes takes a crap in the yard during the winter. It's like, well, we'll find it later.
Yeah. You're like, oh, man, there's no dog crap. And then it thaws, and you're like, oh, there's dog crap everywhere.
Yeah. So what team did you want to play for during that time?
I didn't think I had a preference in a team. No, I mean, I'm a Phillies fan. I guess if I wanted to play on any team, it would have been the Phillies. But I don't think that I had a preference. Like, I was very career-minded when it came to baseball.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to get into the minors and just get a shot. but I chose some wrong life paths, and one thing led to the next, and I needed to figure out what my backup plan was going to be, my contingency plan.
Yeah, gotcha, man. So in that case, what was your favorite baseball player growing up in that world?
Strangely enough, it was Juan Gonzalez.
Juan Gonzalez. All right.
Yeah. I was a Phillies fan, but for some reason I was a fan of a Texas, right fielder.
Yeah. It's two different things happening here, man.
Yeah.
See, me, it was always Griffey. Ken Griffey Jr., man. I mean, he had the video games and that just kind of worked out. I'm like, oh, clearly Griffey, man. He's the way to go.
My dad owned a sports card and memorabilia store growing up. So, so I get the Griffey. It was either you were a Frank Griffey fan or Ken Griffey, I'm sorry, or a Frank Thomas fan.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like, it was either Griffey or the Big Hurt. Those are the ones that were worth the money, at least, in baseball cards.
Yeah, because that was the popular guys. Got to get the rookie card or whatever it may be. It also reminds me of those that old Sega game, Frank Thomas Big Hurt Baseball, man.
I know. It was a good game. I played that game.
Yeah. So kind of wrapping up in the world of the high school world, what was your favorite thing to eat during lunch?
I don't know, man. French bread pizza?
Dude,
maybe. Like if we're talking school lunch, I'm thinking French bread pizza.
Yeah. That sounds really good right now, dude. I haven't had breakfast or lunch or anything yet, and I could just go for a French bread pizza. That sounds glorious.
I'm waiting on this, and then I'm gonna have my wife make me some eggs.
Ooh, all right. I've been trying to work on making over easy eggs like they make in restaurants, and I can't get it right. I don't know what they do, or maybe they have some kind of magic or something. I'm still trying to figure out over easy eggs.
Well, we have a great relationship, right? So for me, I can fix pretty much anything. If it breaks, like I can take it apart and I can fix it. I can't cook to save my life, but she can't fix stuff.
No, see, then it's
and
like
she can cook. Yeah. Right. So we trade off. We trade off. I'll fix things and build things, and she'll cook things.
It all comes together in that case. That's how love was found.
That's it, man. The way to a man's heart's through his belly, right?
Yeah. You fixed her toilet, she fixed you a meal.
That's it, man.
Boom. So it's funny you mentioned the baseball stuff, because even when I look at you right now, I'm like, he kind of has like that baseball player look to him. Has a little bit of the face.
They sure make a lot of money.
Yeah, see, right? I mean, like, maybe we should have went the baseball route, both of us. I would have just been a coach, honestly, though. I don't think I would have.
They make a lot of money too.
Yeah, they do. Oh man, do they? So last but not least on this one, when it comes to the high school world, during that time, 2003, what was your favorite band you couldn't get enough of?
Linkin Park.
Makes sense.
Edema. It was Edema in Linkin Park. I mean, there was a lot in there, though. I mean, think about 2003 for metal, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
dude.
what a time to be listening to metal music.
Yeah.
And I know that it sounds like an old person saying that, because you obviously hear your parents be like, "What a time to listen to rock music."
Back in the day.
my mom's like Monkees and Beach Boys, and like she loves all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So she would probably say the same thing, like, "What a time to listen to rock music." I don't know, my mom, I don't think that she's like from Europe. I don't know why I'm giving her that accent, but
well, she is now.
Well, what a time. Yeah, right. My mom's like a little Irish lady, but we're not Irish at all. Weird. But yeah, man, it was just that era, that scene. Like I love Seven Dust. I love Mudvayne. I think came out no, they were around. Yeah, LD50 was a great record.
Yeah.
I mean, I can sit here and name off bands all day long. I think it was just the style of music. Like I fell head over heels in love with it, man, because I listened to hip hop and rap my entire childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And up until it was basically my senior year. It may have been my junior year, but it was up until right around that time that I started converting over to heavier music.
Oh yeah.
And those were the bands that brought me over. It was the idea of mixing rap and rock together that was what made me fall in love with metal music. If it wasn't for that, I don't know that I would have ever liked metal. My sister listened to Metallica.
Mm-hmm.
She was a big Green Day fan.
Yeah.
Her favorite band ever is Pearl Jam.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always around that as a kid growing up.
Yeah.
but I didn't understand it.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
So it
didn't
was like,
gel with you yet, you know? I mean, it
no.
doesn't make sense.
And it was my sister. She's older. I didn't want to like what she liked.
Yeah.
I wanted to like what I wanted to like. So
You
I wanted
wanted-
to like Bone Thugs and Harmony, Biggie, and Tupac.
You wanted to be your own individual.
That's right.
Is what it came down to. It's funny you mentioned Mudvayne and all of them too, man, because especially around that time. I mean, you and I are kind of from that generation of the burned CD. People were making mixtapes, you know, back in like the mid '90s and such. But then we were getting to that point when Kazaa, Napster, or whatever it may be, you're downloading songs, and you pay someone $5 that had a CD burner. Like, man, can you download these songs for me? You know, and it's weird about how that's how I discovered so many different artists that I listen to today. I never heard Pantera until someone's like, hey, you should listen to this. And they put Walk on there. And I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to make sure that it's the rewritable, and you have to burn it as a data disc, because then you can fit more songs. Remember your disc that had like 120 songs on it?
That was mind-blowing. The fact that I'm like, you can put this much on a CD?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is this madness?
And you would get mad if you wrote it as like an actual audio file. You're like, what did I do? There's only 15 songs on this. This is crap. I'm throwing this out.
And at that time, that shit was so expensive. Like, you could get a spindle of CDs for like $80. And like $80 in 2002, man, that was a lot. I couldn't afford that.
Yeah, right.
As a kid working at McDonald's flipping fries, man. I don't know.
Right. I was coming over on my lunch break from Kmart to get you to cook me up a burger.
Yep, exactly.
Hey, let's not downplay McDonald's. I worked there too.
See, I think everyone has to work at McDonald's at least for a little while. Nothing wrong with McDonald's, by the way, but it teaches you.
Oh, there's a lot wrong with McDonald's. Are you sponsored by them?
Nope, not at all. I mean, oh yeah, they're great. I love McDonald's. They're the best. Why? Yeah, burgers. Anyway,
they're great for your arteries.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I haven't had fast food, I think, in probably over a year, man. Because once I started, I'm trying to lose weight. I'm doing pretty well so far, but I'm trying to lose some weight. And I look at some of that food. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could ever. I can't do that. It just doesn't.
You picked the wrong time in human history to try and lose weight,
dude. Right? I'm like, like I can't go to the gym. I can't go to the rec center.
You can't go outside your house.
No, I can't do anything. It sucks. You know, funny that you mentioned though. So what is it that you stay in your house? What are you doing to kind of stave off that quarantine boardom?
I've finished Netflix.
No, you finished Netflix, like the whole thing?
Yeah, right. People are like, I binge watched this series. Like, I binge watched the entire Netflix.
It's all done.
Yeah. We've been working on some what we're calling the quarantine covers.
I know, those are great, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we never did covers before. Like we've done some live, you know, just to get people engaged in the live audience, you know, but we've never really done covers to an extent. Like some bands will do a lot of cover songs, you know what I mean? And we never really did that. So we were like, you know what? Like, we're not doing anything. We're not playing live. Why don't we basically kind of like this, get together and just create these covers and let the fans pick what they want to hear. So it's kind of like our own little TRL.
Yeah. Dropping that TRL bomb there, right there.
There it is, man.
So, I mean, you just recently even dropped the Gravity cover with, that was Papa Roach with Maria Brink. You had Jen Ledger on that one, which was cool as shit. So you say the fans kind of pick the covers. Is there any ones out there that are on your mind that you say, yeah, I would love to do that one?
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah.
I don't want to give anything away though, because we got some cool things that we're working on right now. One of the ones that gets requested a lot is Fallen in Reverse's Popular Monster.
Yeah.
Which is now, you know, and Ronnie's a cool dude, and you know the rest of the guys in Fallen, we've toured with them numerous times. That just hit number 1, so congrats to them. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one that comes up quite a bit. And then obviously the M&Ms, they come up. That's cool for me because I'm a diehard M&M fan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a stan. I'm not that diehard of a fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool suggestions out there. Obviously, we get Linkin Park all the time.
Right.
We did do one Linkin Park. We did Faint. That was the most voted on when we first launched the idea. Everyone wanted to hear us do Faint, so we're like, okay, well, let's give the people what they want. Let's do Faint. But you know, there's just a ton. There's just so many. If you go through the comments, it's like, oh man, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, I like that. That's a good idea. It's just really like what what can we do? What can we make our own? And what is comfortable for Danny's got a, like we'll get some that people are like, do Five Finger Death Punch or do Breaking Benjamin. And it's like, well, our singer's a tenor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And those guys are baritones.
Right.
So I'm not sure like we would be able to do it the justice it deserves. It would be completely different, which might not be a bad thing, but might not be a good thing either. So we haven't really tried.
Yeah, and you also want to work within your range because you don't want to start blowing out voices and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Because, that's damaging. That could be permanently damaging. You don't want to do that.
That's what I told Danny last night. I'm like, just be careful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because he's really good at emulating people. And I'm like, just be careful, man. Like, just sing it like you'll sing it.
Yeah. Make it your own, as they say.
Yeah.
Make it your own. So, last thing I got to point out, because you mentioned Eminem, man, when that Marshall Mathers LP came out, with the Real Slim Shady, The Way I Am on it, what
best album ever.
Good God, what a great album that is. I just thought about that. I just wanted to gush for like 3 seconds on that.
That's the best record in my eyes. That's the best record in music. Like, you think I'm from that era, so there's some people that are older than me. They're like, "What? You're nuts! Led Zeppelin's way better."
Oh yeah.
But like for me. And, me growing up, the Marshall Mathers LP is the best record ever created.
Yeah.
Like,
dude, it's fantastic.
Genius.
It's just angry. It's just good feeling. It's got rhythm. It's got it all. It's just like, that was one of those defining albums around that time that, especially growing up, it was just like that. It's speaking to me. Kind of thing. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, The Way I Am did speak to me. Yeah, it was like one of them things like, I'm just going to be me. And I've kind of lived by that motto since that song came out. Got me in a lot of trouble for a lot of years. Especially when I get drunk. Like, I'm going to do whatever I want.
Yeah,
That's not a good idea. And the cops would be like, no, you're not. Check out these silver shiny things that I can put around your wrist.
Yep, exactly, man. So I don't know where else I can go with this, man, but I think I'll let you go back to your quarantine and get yourself some eggs.
Awesome, man. Hey, I want to finish up. I see Sonic on the wall back there.
Yes.
So, did you see the new Sonic movie?
No, dude, I have not. It's available for video on demand, and I have not watched it yet.
It's actually really good. I stayed away from it because I just was not sure what to expect. I'm like, I don't know, Sonic movie?
Yeah,
but it's actually really cool.
It's
actually really cool.
Because it has Jim Carrey and the Sonic, and I think back to like my childhood of the 90s and whatnot, and I'm like, is this what I would have wanted back in 93?
They pulled a lot of the video game reference in. And they made jokes about it, which was made it cool because it's like, okay, I remember that from the video game, and then they just, make a funny scene out of it, like with the rings or something. Like it's really cool.
That's so cool, man. I gotta watch it because again, just like you, because you went through all like the entire thing of Netflix, as you say. Now I gotta go through the entire thing of Amazon Prime, and maybe.
Oh, I'm done with that too.
Oh my god, yeah.
I'm watching like HGTV now, wishing I was in my house.
That's just like when you're getting married or something like that, where you watch all the bridal shows when you're buying
I don't do that.
Oh, dude. Let me tell you, you get into that part where you're buying a house or building a house. All of a sudden, you're just like, I have to watch Chip and Joanna Gaines because they know how to remodel a house. So now I'm addicted to them. That's what happens.
The fact that I know who Chip and Joanna Gaines are is a problem.
Dude, right?
All right, brother. Well, I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much. And last but not least, is there anything you want to get out there for the band that's happening or any words that you want to tell anyone in the quarantine world?
Our song Panic is blowing up. So I just want to thank everybody for that because we get told often that this style of music is not well accepted, but we're seeing that this song Panic is like what everybody's wanting. Yeah. The comments is saying how much they've wanted this from us. So it's like, to know that you went and you wrote a song and you went in the studio and you thought about it, you tear your hair out writing this stuff. You age yourself 5 years over the course of, a couple months, honestly, when you're pouring out your soul into a song. So to know that song is working and people are relating to it and people love what you did with it is just, think about a chef making a meal or think about, a contractor building a home for somebody or something like that. When the person comes and tells you how well you did on what they expected of you to do. Yeah. Like that means the world, so it's awesome to see the feedback and just feel the love from everybody in this track right now.
Absolutely, man. It's a mind-blowing song and I love it. It's so good.
Thanks, brother.
On rock, so we're rocking you.
I appreciate that. Is that a Game Boy on your mug?
Yes.
Nice.
You know what? Just for the hell of it, since I know we're wrapping up, but like I said, I'm a big video game guy. I've got a Nintendo controller right here on my arm.
Nice.
And then, if you want to, there's just a boatload of video games, just and a bunch of garbage in the corner there. And then, if you kind of go back, if you a little bit of a hint, there's a Virtual Boy right there too.
Oh my God. Those are like shining lasers directly into your eyeballs.
Yeah.
Dude, I gotta ask this question before we sign off. You got all those games. Is one of those games in there? I saw a lot of NES games, I think. Is one of those games in there Dragon Warrior? Do you have Dragon Warrior?
Let me see if I can just pick it out real quick. It's in there. I can promise you $1 billion. It's in there.
I spent way too much of my childhood on Dragon Warrior.
Oh, dude.
Way too much.
The slime will always attack.
Yep. And then right. And then that evolved into Earthbound, which then obviously evolved into Final Fantasy VII, and then just kept going. But man, that's awesome. You got to talk to Lance. You don't talk video games for days, man. Talk to Lance.
All right. Well, then maybe he needs to show up on the Coffee and Quarantine here podcast.
All right.
Damn it. We could have been talking about video games for the past 20 minutes too. Shit. All you have to do is say Final Fantasy, Dragon Warrior, and Earthbound. I've been like, well, I have a whole story behind that.
Boom. For another day, my man.
All right. For another day it is then, man. So, Matt, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you taking the time, and go enjoy some eggs.
Thanks, brother.
And good luck on the house too, man. We'll hopefully see you on the road very soon.
All right, man. Take care.
Adios.
See ya.